Hi, this is Father Louis SCURTI. Welcome to Friends of the Word. My guest for the third segment is Andy SAYLES, an attorney who, within the last 10 years, was confirmed to the Catholic faith, married a beautiful woman, red hair, and
Yes.
and who has red hair? Both sons?
Both sons, yes. I'm the minority in the family.
Yeah. And the boys were all baptized, and so was Amanda, into the Catholic Church. And I thought, Andy, he's a member of our board, the Friends of the Word Board of Directors, and a friend for 10 years. And I thought it would be interesting to hear some of his insights. And in previous episodes, he has shared some of the segments that have to do with the faith and coming up in the faith and coming to New Jersey from upstate New York. And now you're working as a litigator for Connell and Foley. Tell me what that is all about.
All right. So yeah, I'm in our litigation group. I'm in court, most weeks, representing clients, preparing for trials, hopefully trying to avoid trials, basically arguing and defending and advocating for clients when I can. It's a good firm. I like them a lot.
Do you like doing that?
I do. It's a very rewarding job. I mean, there are times where I'm working till midnight or 1 a.m. just
Right.
because of a deadline, or you lose an occasional weekend just because work demands it. The one
Right.
thing about litigation work is there's usually deadlines, and sometimes you'll get a notice from a judge that says, I want this in a week and a half, and you don't have much to say. You have to just move things around. So that's stressful, but the work itself is very rewarding. I get paid to use my intellect, my brain. I get to analyze things. I get to interact with a lot of different people.
How significant is your opinion when you're working?
What do you mean, as far as like confidence or how I
No.
interpret things?
Your opinion about certain issues or certain people, or your opinion / your faith. Does it come into it? In other words, do I have to leave my opinion aside and go this way?
Well, to some degree, you have to kind of look at it objectively at first. You always have to look in and assess all the issues in front of you, whether it's on a specific point you're arguing or the general long view of a case. But by the same token, the way you are, your personal beliefs will come out. Like most judges, most juries, they size people up, and a jury is they're not attorneys, but they're there to hear your version of events, and they're very adept at sensing when someone's not being genuine or truthful. So
interesting. That's good.
if you try to go and present an argument that's inconsistent with your beliefs, it's probably going to show through. So like my personality is what it is. I don't change it and turn a switch on and become a bombastic attorney or pound the table or things like that. I try to stay true to myself. So to the degree like opinions and personal beliefs come in, I will incorporate them whenever I can, because I think it gives a good degree of makes you seem genuine.
Credibility, sure.
Exactly.
Oh, that's interesting. That's good. So you could incorporate. A typical case subject, like give me just one. Then I want to know more about the firm. But
Sure.
Give me a typical case.
Well, so I handle everything from slip and fall cases at someone's house to an attorney or a doctor sued for malpractice to a dispute over a construction project gone bad. So
That's fascinating. It's so widespread. It's not segmented.
yeah, well, it's spread out. I started doing. I worked for a judge, and then after that 1 year, and I saw all different types of cases. A civil judge, so anything that was non-criminal or non-matrimonial basically went through her courtroom.
Okay.
So I saw a lot of different cases there. Then I worked at a firm that did medical malpractice defense only, so I was only dealing with hospitals, nurses, and
okay.
doctors.
That's the image I have. Okay.
And then after doing that, I went to Connell Foley, where I was still doing that's called professional liability work.
Okay.
And then I branched into other fields. I started representing architects and engineers, which are usually involved in construction projects. So I got to know construction issues more prevalent. And then a lot of it stemmed into contracts. And the more you do it, the more you're exposed to, and that's kind of how it stemmed out.
And when a case comes in, how do they decide you're going to take it?
Sometimes it's assigned to me within the firm, but I have my own clients now, so sometimes I'll be referred. Andy SAYLES does a lot of this work. You should see him.
Excellent.
I represent a lot of law firms and a certain group of type of firms that do a lot of litigation. They get sued under these federal laws. I do a lot of that work, so I'm starting to get a lot of referrals through that. And, just you get enough. Hopefully, you have a good track record and you do a good job for people. They appreciate it.
Sure, and they refer.
Most of it's word of mouth. I try to do the other marketing things. I go speak at events and write articles or blog, to be honest, the most success I have is just word of mouth.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I have found. That's great. Okay, what's it like being there, Connell? First, give me the actual physical makeup. Is it a building? Is it an office floor?
We rent a space in a building in Roseland. We occupy 2 floors. Roseland is our main office. There's probably, I think, 80 attorneys that work in that office.
Oh.
We have an office in Jersey City, an office in Newark, and an office in Cherry Hill, as well as an office in Manhattan. So I think we're about 135 or 140 attorneys.
Great. Now, are Connell and Foley
they were
founders?
They were among the founding members.
Okay.
Mr. Connell passed away before I joined the firm. Mr. Foley was semi-retired by the time I joined the firm, but they were the glue that held the firm together.
That's great. That's great.
Good, well-respected jurists. They were very involved in the state early on, and as I was saying in our last segment, it's a small legal community in New Jersey, and the firm kind of, if you were to draw a family tree, there's probably 4 or 5 larger law firms in New Jersey that all share the same lineage as Connell Foley.
Oh, that's great.
So
that's
partners
great.
break off or they come back and join, and so it's a nice close community for it.
Now, prior to this, you had mentioned a classmate of mine from Seton Hall University who's an attorney.
Gene Squeal.
Right.
He's at our Jersey City office.
That is great. I think Gene is originally from Jersey City, as I was, as I remember.
Yeah, they're our Hudson County group.
Yeah. Oh, God.
No one leaves Hudson County.
That's a special breed, the Hudson County people. And it's funny, if I meet people from Hudson County, this is simpatico. You know each other. I don't know why or how.
Well, it's funny because with Governor Byrne passing away recently, someone was telling me a joke just this morning. He always joked, when I die, bury me in Hudson County. And I don't think he was from Hudson County originally, but they said, why? Because I want to be able to keep voting. It's the Hudson County way, but it's everyone down there is great. It's a nice community.
Oh yeah. And it's close. It's close community. What is Gene's specialty? And I'll eventually have Gene as a guest.
Yeah, I believe he does a lot of immigration work. Someone told me he's actually I don't know. He's of counsel, so he has his practice isn't as heavy as it probably was 20 or 30 years ago. But he focuses on, I believe, on that, some land use, some transactional things. We do a lot of transactional work out of our Jersey City office.
Oh, great.
And he's partners with another priest father, Francis Schiller, who also does that type of work. They were in a firm that joined Connell Foley at some point before I joined the firm.
And I think it's important for the audience to know that these are practicing Catholic priests.
Yes.
Okay. So just as I am a marriage and family therapist and a Catholic priest, they are professionals in 2 areas, at least 2 that we're talking about. And Frank Schiller, I know of him. I know who he is from years ago because he was way ahead of me in the seminary. And Gene, of course, we were together at Seton Hall, so I do remember him. Yeah. Send him my regards.
I will, certainly.
Show him this episode. Hey, Gene, how are you?
The
you had mentioned before that your firm has a Red Mass every year.
Oh, we have a Mass. It's not strictly the Red Mass. We do a Mass before Christmas every year, and it's in honor of our past partners that have passed away. So every year, if someone else passed away, it's in their honor. But so usually the Friday before Christmas or whatever the last day, we have a Mass.
Right.
And Father Squeal and Father Schiller usually give the Mass, and it's just kind of set off the season, right? And it's not everyone at our firm is Catholic. We have people of a lot of different backgrounds and faiths, but there's still a core value, a core tradition that it was that had that strong religious faith. We're one of the few firms I think that still has Good Friday off. Now most firms work on Good Friday, so
Ooh, right.
it's something I've always appreciated. I've definitely felt welcomed. I've never had to hide my faith at the firm.
Excellent,
or anything to that
excellent.
effect.
And yet, it's not a Catholic firm. It's not a religious firm. It's men and women who are of various faiths, background, and they respect those.
Correct.
faiths.
Yes, and I think Mr. Connell, Mr. Foley were Irish Catholics,
Come
and I think 50 or 60 years ago, the firms they were your identity. So
Yeah, right. The Mass, where's it celebrated? At a church or
usually
office?
somewhere near our Roseland office, either Livingston or Roseland, somewhere within close. And when we come back and have a holiday party, and
Good.
yeah, it's nice. I always enjoy it. It's my favorite time of the year at the firm. So.
Excellent.
But we do also recognize the Red Mass. We send a flyer. A A lot of our attorneys are Seton Hall alums. We've got, if they didn't go to Seton Hall Law School, they went to Seton Hall Prep. Or we've got one of our attorneys is a trustee with the board or Seton Hall board. They're very involved in that community. So we always have a presence at the Red Mass at Seton Hall.
Excellent, excellent. This has been wonderful. Now we've come full circle. We end with the church. We began with the church years ago with your coming to the chapel. And I really appreciate these interviews.
My pleasure.
Anything you'd like to tell the audience about
just
legal aspects of that person?
Well, I like the professional law. Don't be so skeptical of attorneys. There are a few that give the bulk of us a bad name. And
that is
yes,
true.
yes.
That is true. There's a phrase that I don't know who came up with it, but if their lips are moving, then they're lying. Now, that is applicable to various careers, and usually salesperson. I'm not mocking them. And definitely, I use that a lot in my therapy in families, especially when there's dysfunction of addiction. And the addict is, taken care of by the family. I say if his lips or her lips are moving, they're probably lying, because we always have to get through that and get to reality and the substance of the faith of the individual. But this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. And you give attorneys a good name.
All right, wonderful.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Send my love to Amanda and the boys, and I hope to see them soon.
Certainly, definitely.
You can't believe that. When Amanda is here as a guest, I'm going to have to definitely insist that the boys come with her. Red hair, modern to me. This has been Father Louis SCURTI. Thank you for joining us on these segments. And let me hear from you, fatherlouisscurti@hotmail.com. God bless you.